I can say that the president of the ICSAN was very attractive, flamboyant, and really very accommodating person. I believe that is the nature of members of this profession. So thank you very much also for inviting us to come to this activity. And let me just say, professions are created by society to work for and on behalf of society. That's why all professions are service-oriented. And what I saw here today, I will relate back to the president. I can see that every information here was done for and on behalf of society to make Nigerian society a better place. And it is well spoken. And I may just re-echo what Hajia Kingibe said. We must be very, very objective, and we must have a very wide approach to all our problems. Governance is the key thing. From what the professor said, he gave us after the period of time when Nigeria was an investment hub open. After some time, they left, which means the leadership of this country, the structuring of this country, the institutions of governance are all very important before we can even put any economic systems and indices that will help support the society. And I pray that what we have today will be a very good challenge. And sometimes wonder if we had our federated systems, I'm sure if neither Nigeria government remained, we will still have our textile, our cotton production, our whatever, our cocoa will still be there. But maybe it's because we dissolved all these and formed a unitary government, and therefore we lost all the necessary things God has given us. Let us think positively for this country. And as professionals, we are meant by society to work for society and to make sure society becomes a good place. I want to thank you very much for inviting APPN. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much, sir. Let me go to the online audience. I can assure you we have a plethora of comments and a number of questions. I want to Olekama Keleme, FCIS, say, hard truth being released here. Our mentality and mindset needs to change. And for Chief Adewale Adeniji, say, wow, sovereign lecture. I hope we can distill this to the masses of our people. There's a question from Augustine Achugo. He said, well done, Prof. Pongo Adi, for your very factual lecture on Nigeria's economic standing with emphasis on external reserve. Can you please expatiate on the role management plays in creating a sustainable external reserve and how Nigeria is faring on management of our economy, especially in creating the right environment for growth in external reserve? Prof, they want to know the role management plays. Let me just read a few more before you answer. Somebody says, Cecilia Madueke says, we need a paradigm shift. And very insightful, Prof. Thanks for this lecture. Honestly, very apt indeed. Well done, sir. Thank you, Prof. Adi. Different comments. I think the next question, somebody, Jessica Okoli, said, we go and meet our prospective strategic partners and investors, not sitting down in Nigeria waiting for them to come and meet us. That is political entrepreneurship. Very, very interesting. So, Prof, can you speak to the issue of how management can help improve external resources? Thank you.
Okay, so I think the template, if I may say, may use that, is already provided in 2006, 7. The financial reforms, the fiscal reforms that happened during the Jonathan administration, and they are still, in operation. So, yes, but again, it has to do with the exigencies of the moment. The central bank, because when you talk about management of the external reserve, is the sole preserve of the CBN. So that is it. So, and the CBN is an independent entity. What can happen is to use like the fiscal reforms, the macroeconomic reforms. They put some kind of benchmark on what has to be done, how it should be utilized. Okay, but again, the responsibility of the central bank, like the monetary policy that they pursued, is inflation targeting for a very long time. So each time it is observed that inflation is beginning to shoot up, the next thing is to use monetary instruments to contain that. And then inflation, of course, has a deleterious effect on exchange rates. The first, when they tried the MPR, the monetary policy rate, okay, and still is sterile in the sense that it's not working. The next thing is to now to look at, intervention in the foreign exchange market. Just think about the situation we're in now. I was listening to the radio when I was coming from the airport this morning, and then some people were, spewing, threatening storm and hellfire if government attempted to remove subsidy on petroleum products. You see, so sometimes it is important to balance the social concerns and the pure market, issues. It's a very delicate balance. How do you manage the external reserve? When Okonjo-Iweala and her crew renegotiated and paid off all those debts, of course, they also came under attack. How could we have such, burning issues of poverty, unemployment, and then you're using the money that we have to go pay debts? Why not provide infrastructure that we do not have? Now we have a situation where so many sectors of the economy are in suboptimal equilibrium, requiring what we call like a big push approach, which only the central bank can do. So supposing they have the money and then they are in a position to do that, to create jobs, to re-energize the economy, well, you can't tell them not to do that, and then you can't argue against that. So it's a kind of a delicate balance. Remember when I was speaking, I said I wasn't going to pass any judgment on whether liberalizing the exchange rates is a good one, or having it managed float that we've been practicing is better. It's a delicate balance. That's what I can say. But the rules are there on how to manage the external reserve.
Yeah, thank you very much. Please, this goes to our tech team. We are having feedback from the online audience that they are having challenge